Hello and welcome to the news at 9 p.m. on Sansad TV with me, Bhawna Nayar. Here are the top 5 headlines this Tuesday evening. Prime Minister Modi addresses 90th Interpol General Assembly, calls terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, global threats, asserts there can be no safe haven for organized crime. Centre hikes MSP for 6 Rabi crops, price for wheat increased by Rs 110 per quintal, mustard by Rs 400. Another targeted killing in Jammu and Kashmir, 2 labourers from Uttar Pradesh killed in grenade attack in Shopian. Political parties condemn incident. Helicopter crash kills 7 people bound for Kedarnath. President, Vice President and Prime Minister expressed grief over accident. And UK markets stabilise after new Treasury Chief Jeremy Hunt cancels all tax cuts announced in government's mini-budget 3 weeks ago. And after the top headlines, a quick look now at our flash news segment. India, France re-elected president and co-president of International Solar Alliance. Peace in border areas will decide normal relations between India and China, asserts External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Fossil fuel dependence unhealthy not only for environment but also for economy, says Power Minister R.K. Singh. Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says civil aviation sector must be democratized and work for common man. At India-Africa Defence Dialogue in Gandhinagar, Rajnath Singh says India is united with African nations in their quest for peace, stability and prosperity. Delhi High Court dismisses bail petition of Umar Khalid in case of alleged larger conspiracy in 2020 North-East Delhi riots. India Meteorological Department today issues alert for cyclone early next week over Bay of Bengal. Carbon credits company Eki Energy Services Limited developing launches India's first 1,000 crore climate impact fund. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on 3-day visit to India supports Prime Minister Modi's "not an era of war" remark to Vladimir Putin. Sri Lankan author Shihan Karunatilaka wins Booker Prize for his book 7 Moons of Mali Almeida. And now the top story of the day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi called upon the world to unite against common threats of terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, cyber crimes and illegal poaching. Addressing the 90th General Assembly of Interpol in New Delhi, Prime Minister Modi said that when the threats are global, the response cannot be local. He stated that terrorism is spreading rapidly through online radicalization and cyber threats. The Prime Minister emphasized on the need for the global community to work faster to eliminate safe havens for the corrupt, terrorist, drug cartels, poaching gangs or organized crime.
India has been combating transnational terrorism for several decades. Thousands of our people made the ultimate sacrifice in this fight. But it is no longer enough that terrorism is fought only in the physical space. It is now spreading its presence through online radicalization and cyber threats.
The 90th General Assembly of Interpol is being held from the 18th to 21st of October. Delegations from 195 member nations are attending the meet. These include ministers, police chiefs of countries, heads of national central bureaus and senior police officers. The Interpol General Assembly meeting is taking place in India after a gap of about 25 years. It was last held in 1997. Moving on to another developing story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the work in progress of National Maritime Heritage Complex site in Lothal in Gujarat via video conferencing. He said that the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal in Gujarat represents the nation's resolve to take pride in its rich maritime history. Prime Minister Modi said that many such tales of our history have been forgotten, including India's maritime heritage. He asserted that the National Maritime Heritage Complex will act as a center for learning about and understanding India's diverse maritime history.
तटीय इलाकों में आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के इतने काम हो रहे हैं, तटीय इलाकों में विभिन्न उद्योगों की स्थापना हो रही है। अब सेमीकंडक्टर प्लांट भी यहां के गौरव को और बढ़ाएगा। हजारों वर्ष पहले लोथल और उसके आसपास का इलाका जितना विकसित था, वैसे ही इस क्षेत्र को फिर से विकसित बनाने के लिए हमारी सरकार पूरी शक्ति से काम कर रही है।
The Union Cabinet has approved today a hike in MSP of 6 Rabi crops for the 2022-23 crop year and the 2023-24 marketing season. The move aims to boost production and income of farmers. The minimum support price for wheat has been hiked by Rs 110 to Rs 2,125 per quintal, while MSP for mustard rose by Rs 400 to Rs 5,450 per quintal for the current crop year. The support price of barley was hiked by Rs 100 to Rs 1,735 per quintal. The absolute highest increase in MSP has been approved for masoor by Rs 500 per quintal to Rs 6,000 per quintal. The MSP for gram has been increased by Rs 105 to Rs 5,335 per quintal. The MSP for safflower has been raised by Rs 209 to Rs 5,650 per quintal.
गेहूं में 110 रुपये वृद्धि की गई है। 215 रुपये से बढ़ाकर इसको 2125 रुपये किया गया है। जौ को 100 रुपया बढ़ोतरी की गई, जो 1635 से बढ़ के 1735 किया गया है। चना में 105 रुपये की वृद्धि हुई, जो 5230 से बढ़कर 5335 रुपये अब किया गया है। मसूर में 500 रुपये की वृद्धि की गई है, जो 5500 से बढ़ाकर 6000 रुपया किया गया है।
Moving on, the 12th edition of Defence Expo began in Gandhinagar in Gujarat today. Addressing the Manthan ceremony, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that the Defence Expo will showcase the growing prowess of the domestic defence industry. He also exhorted the startups and innovators to come up with new ideas to modernize the armed forces and make India Atmanirbhar. He asserted that the nation today is more focused on solutions than the problems.
हमारे देश में गुजरात से लेकर असम और कश्मीर से लेकर कन्याकुमारी तक टैलेंट्स की कमी नहीं है। जरूरत है कि उन्हें पहचानने की, उन्हें निखारने की और उन्हें राष्ट्र की प्रगति से जोड़ने की। और अगर हम इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ते हैं तो ऐसा कोई कारण नहीं है कि हम इंडियन डिफेंस सेक्टर को नई हाइट्स पर ले जाने में कामयाब न हों।
The Defence Minister also addressed the second India-Africa Defence Dialogue held on the sidelines of DEF Expo 2022. 75 nations are participating in the Defence Expo this year. The theme of this year's event is Path to Pride. With record registration of 1,340 companies, DEF Expo 2022 is set to be the biggest Indian defence exhibition till date. It is also the first ever edition of the event to exclusively feature Indian companies. The Indian Ocean Region Plus Conclave will also be held on the sidelines. Moving on, a helicopter carrying pilgrims back from Kedarnath temple crashed today amid poor visibility. The chopper burst into flames close to Garud Chatti, killing 6 pilgrims and the pilot. The chopper was carrying pilgrims from Kedarnath to Gupt Kashi. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said his ministry is constantly monitoring the situation. President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Governor Gurmeet Singh and Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami have expressed condolences. The Chief Minister has also ordered an inquiry into the incident.
टोटल आज 7 लोगों का डेथ होने का पुष्टि हुई है। एक पायलट एंड 6 पैसेंजर्स और उनमें से 3 लोग गुजरात से हैं बता रहे हैं और एक झारखंड से और एक कर्नाटका से बता रहे हैं और एक आर्यन एविएशन हेलीकॉप्टर कंपनी के जो है हेलीकॉप्टर दुर्घटना हुआ है और 11:42 के आसपास जो है ये घटना बता रहे हैं। गरुड़ चट्टी में जो है ये अभी डेब्री मिली है और रिकवरी ऑपरेशंस चल रहा है।
Moving on to our next story, 2 migrant laborers were killed in a grenade attack by terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir's Shopian district. The Lieutenant Governor and many political parties of Jammu and Kashmir condemned the attack. Terrorists hurled a grenade in Harman area of Shopian, killing Manish Kumar and Ram Sagar, who belong to Kannauj in Uttar Pradesh. A cordon and search operation led to the arrest of a local hybrid terrorist of prescribed outfit. Lashkar-e-Taiba identified as Imran Bashir Khani of Harman. The police said further investigation is underway in the case.
जैसा हम लोग देखें आप लोग देख रहे हैं तिरपाल हटा के सीजीआई सीट के अंदर से ग्रेनेड थ्रो किया गया जिसमें उत्तर प्रदेश के 2 मजदूर थे मारे गए और उसमें से जो थ्रो किया ग्रेनेड किया है हैवी टेररिस्ट है और उसको हम लोग रात में ही पकड़ लिए और बहुत सारे ऐसा एविडेंस मिला है जिससे प्रूव होता है कि उसने ग्रेनेड थ्रो किया है, उन्होंने कन्फेस भी कर लिया है। बाकी उसके साथ जो भी और लोग के साथ चलते हैं उसको भी अरेस्ट किया गया है और हम लोग कॉर्डन सर्च जो हाईरोड बता रहे हैं वहाँ सर्च कर रहे हैं।
A Delhi court refused to cancel the bail granted to Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav in the IRCTC scam case. The CBI alleged that Tejasvi Yadav attempted to subvert the process of law and had rejected the outcome of the entire investigation. Yadav, on the other hand, maintained that he had not violated any of the conditions laid down in the bail granted earlier. The court delivered the verdict after hearing arguments of both sides. The case pertains to alleged irregularities in awarding the operation contract to 2 IRCT hotels to a private company. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla visited the PM Kisan Samman Sammelan at the Pusa Institute of Technology, Delhi on Tuesday. He also saw the products and services displayed by startups in the agriculture sector. Speaker Birla said, with indigenous research, our youth are showing the way to increase production with reduced coverage and cost. At the same time, he said, they are also at the forefront in enabling value addition by producing daily use items from agricultural products. He said such innovative approaches will ensure the prosperity of our farmers.
भारत के नौजवान जिस विज्ञान पद्धति, नई स्टार्टअप, नई सोच एग्रीकल्चर के अंदर जिस तरीके का उनका नया सोच है, जिस तरीके का एग्रीकल्चर के प्रति उनकी समर्पण है, वो एक किसान के बेटे हैं और किसान खेती करते हुए उन्होंने किस तरीके से परिवर्तन हो सकता है, नई आधुनिकता आ सकती है, उसके लिए जो काम किया उसके लिए बधाई के पात्र है और इन सब नौजवानों के कारण एक भारत के कृषि क्षेत्र में एक व्यापक परिवर्तन होगा।
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar hosted dinner for Rajya Sabha MPs at the Vice President's residence on Tuesday. Many MPs, including Union Minister Piyush Goyal, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, PT Usha were present at the gathering. Earlier this month, the Vice President hosted Rajya Sabha floor leaders and sought suggestions from them for the smooth functioning of the House. And time now to take a quick look at some more stories from across the nation. The government has wound up the 24-year-old multidisciplinary monitoring agency MDMA constituted to probe the wider conspiracy into the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. MDMA was working under the Central Bureau of Investigation and comprised officers from multiple central security agencies. Counting of votes for the post of Congress President will take place tomorrow. The result too is expected to be announced on Wednesday. After 24 years, a leader outside the Gandhi family will be elected the president of the country's oldest party. Veteran congressman Mallikarjun Kharge and former diplomat turned author and member of parliament Shashi Tharoor are in the fray. The Supreme Court will hear the pleas challenging remission of sentence and release of 11 convicts in the 2002 Bilkis Bano case on November 29. In an affidavit filed in response to the petitions challenging the remission granted to the convicts in Bilkis Bano case, the Gujarat government has said it decided to release the 11 convicts as they had completed 14 years and above in prison and their behavior was found to be good. The centre too has also approved their release. National Highways Authority of India (NHAI) will hold officials liable for any fatal or serious accidents that occur as a result of poor road engineering works. NHAI in a circular said the authority has taken a serious view towards the dereliction of duty by representative involved in the process of issuance of provisional certificate, thereby jeopardizing the safety of users in utter disregard of the policy guidelines and provisions of the contract agreement. The Justice Arumugha Swamy Commission of Inquiry probing the death of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and AIADMK leader J. Jayalalitha has tabled its inquiry report in the Tamil Nadu Assembly on Tuesday. The report found lapses and ordered an inquiry on former AIADMK General Secretary Shashi Kala, former Health Minister Vijay Bhaskar and former Health Secretary Radha Krishnan and Dr. Shiva Kumar for Jayalalitha's death. Slipping into a very short break here, lots more coming up on the other side. You stay tuned to Sansad TV for more news.
The India Startup Story. Powerful ideas, dynamic solutions, innovation, enterprise. Its success and challenges. Packed in a brand new show, The Journey of Startups, only on Sansad TV.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and time now for all the updates from the Russia-Ukraine war front. While Russia is intensifying attacks on Ukrainian soil, it is facing casualties at home as well. A warplane on a training mission crashed in a port city near the eastern Ukrainian war zone, causing 13 deaths. 3 children have also died in the tragic incident. However, this is not the first fighter jet to crash non-combat since the beginning of Russia's war in Ukraine. Here's a detailed report.
At least 13 people, including 3 children, were killed as the Russian warplane crashed into residential area in the Russian port city of Yeysk on the Sea of Azov. The Su-34 bomber crashed on Monday evening after one of its engines caught fire during takeoff for a training mission. The 2 pilots on the training flight ejected themselves before the aircraft hit the building, causing a huge inferno. 3 people died as they jumped from the upper floors of 9-story apartment building in a desperate attempt to escape the blaze. The officials said 68 people were rescued from the fire in the 9-story block. 19 injured were being treated in hospitals. Over 500 residents were evacuated and provided temporary accommodations. The Kremlin said Russian President Vladimir Putin was informed about the crash. The Kremlin also ordered national and regional authorities to provide all necessary assistance to the victims of the fire. The port town of Yeysk lies near the eastern Ukrainian war zone. It has been used as a major training ground for Russia's naval aviation. The Su-34 aircraft is being widely used during Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. The accident marked the 10th reported non-combat crash of the Russian warplane since the beginning of Russia's invasion since 24th February. Military experts have noted that as the number of Russian military flights increased sharply during the fighting, so did the crashes. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
More news on the war front. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Monday that more than 25 areas of the country were targeted by Russia overnight. Highlighting the Monday's drone strikes on Kiev, Zelensky called on allies to help provide more air defense systems and missiles to combat such attacks. 108 Ukrainian women walked free on Monday during a prisoner swap with Russia. They were handed over to Kiev authorities, while 2 others said they wanted to stay in Russia. The Ukrainian side confirmed the exchange, but not that 2 Ukrainians decided to stay in Russia. 110 Russians were freed in the exchange, including 72 seamen from commercial vessels held since February. The European Union is gathering evidence on Iran's alleged sale of drones to Russia. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said that the bloc is following the use of drones very closely. He said the European Union will react with the tools at their disposal if it is proved. However, he did not specify the kind of measures the EU would consider. Kremlin has refused to comment on allegations that Russia is using Iranian drones to target Ukrainian cities and damage critical infrastructure. 2 explosions rocked an energy facility in southeastern city of Dnipro on Tuesday, causing serious damage. The attack was a part of Russian airstrikes on infrastructure targeting across Ukraine on Tuesday morning that led to water and power outages in many cities. A preliminary investigation into leaks in the 2 Nord Stream gas pipelines shows that they were caused by powerful explosions. This was revealed by the Copenhagen police after investigating the parts of the pipelines that lie in Danish waters. The Danish findings are similar to those of Swedish prosecutors. They also said that 2 other holes in the pipeline seem to have been caused by explosions, and the case was being investigated as sabotage. Swedish and Danish authorities are investigating 4 holes in the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines, which link Russia and Germany via the Baltic Sea. And now news from some other parts of the globe. News coming in from Australia. Australia has reversed a decision made 4 years ago to recognize West Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Canberra's decision in 2018 had undermined peace and put Australia out of step with other nations. Here's a report.
Australia on Tuesday reversed a decision of the previous government to recognize West Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It said the status of the city should be resolved through peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian people. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid criticized the decision as hasty. Lapid, a centrist lagging behind his conservative predecessor Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of a 1st November election, accused Canberra of being misled by a media report. Australian Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong said Australia was committed to a 2-state solution in which Israel and a future Palestine coexist in peace within internationally recognized borders. Israel's foreign ministry voiced deep disappointment with the decision and said it would summon the Australian ambassador. Previous Prime Minister Scott Morrison had reversed decades of Middle East policy in December 2018 by saying Australia recognized West Jerusalem as the capital of Israel but would not move its embassy there immediately. Former US President Donald Trump had recognized Jerusalem as the capital a year earlier without elaborating on the boundaries of a city that Palestinians want for the future capital. Morrison's Liberal-led coalition lost a national election in May, returning a Labour government for the first time in 9 years. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And now a look at what else is making news across the world. UK markets stabilized after a financial statement by the new Treasury Chief Jeremy Hunt. In his statement, Hunt cancelled almost all of Prime Minister Liz Truss' tax cuts announced in the government's mini-budget 3 weeks ago. The basic rate of income tax will no longer be reduced by 1 pence and will remain at 20 pence, and the cap on energy prices to households is now guaranteed only until April next year. As many as 23 children have been killed in ongoing mass protest in Iran, a spokesperson for the United Nations Human Rights Office said on Tuesday. The deaths were caused by live ammunition, metal pellets at close range, and fatal beatings. The UN body said an unspecified number of children were arrested during school raids. Australian and Singaporean leaders announced that what they described as a world-first agreement to cooperate in transitioning their economies to net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Prime Minister of both countries outlined their so-called Green Economy Agreement between the two countries. Japan announced an expansion of sanctions on North Korea, freezing the assets of 5 organizations it said were involved in nuclear and missile development. Japan's cabinet approved the measures on Tuesday. Sri Lankan writer Shihan Karunatilaka won the Booker Prize on Monday for his second novel, The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida, about a dead war photographer on a mission in the afterlife. Karunatilaka received a trophy from Queen Consort Camilla at the English Language Literary Awards' first in-person ceremony since 2019. And time to see what's happening in the world of sports. India won't travel to Pakistan for Asia Cup 2023, says Shah. The 2023 Asia Cup may be played in a neutral venue and not Pakistan, observes the BCCI secretary. Roger Binney, former Indian cricket team star and member of the 1983 World Cup winning team, named the 36th president of the BCCI. India ended their FIFA Women's Under-17 World Cup campaign with an all-loss record and without scoring a goal as they suffered a 0-5 defeat to formidable Brazil in their last group match in Bhubaneswar on Monday. Karim Benzema was rewarded for his remarkable success with Real Madrid by winning the Blue d'Or at a star-studded ceremony in Paris on Monday. Benzema scored 44 goals in 46 games for his club last season as Real won the Champions League and La Liga. And Barcelona midfielder Alexia Putellas has won the Ballon d'Or feminine for his second successive year, becoming the first woman to win the awards twice since it launched in 2018. And that comes to an end of this bulletin, the news. Stay tuned to Sansad TV for all the latest updates round the clock. Do share with us your feedback on our social media platforms. Thank you for watching. Good night. Namaskar.